In between Kinnor and Uttaranchal is the radiated ridge Dhouladhar, standing sublime. There are up to a number of passes on the Dhouladhar Ridge. Some of these connect the Baspa Valley to Uttarakhand. In olden days, these routes were used by the shepherds and traders on the Silk Route. Chitkul, the last village of the Baspa Valley. Opposite to the bus stand, one can see the Nardung Khat coming down from the southern ridge. At its head is the Khimloga Pass. This is affected by the nature's rogues, global warming and geographical changes. Broken crevasse-ridden glaciers and steep rocky walls have forced the route's demise. No local or any expedition team had crossed this path over 100 years. As per Gerard's reckoning, it is considered virtually uncrossable these days. The spirit of adventure and the will to do something new was the reason why 5 members of Amtala Annation, Tapan Pandit, Usha Pandit, Piyush Pal, Subroto Barik and Prithvish Das reached Sankri on 18th May 2011. Sankri, on the confluence of Tons and Supin, looked quite a charming and developed village due to the rest house hall for tourists. On 19th May, we loaded 2 jeeps with our luggage and started for Jakhol, the last village of Supin Valley. We took the road to the left bank of Supin. The entire valley was a sea of green with cultivation. In about an hour, we moved for 20 kilometers. Later, we reached Jakhol village, situated at 2,200 meters. The road was extended further for 2 kilometers. At about 9:30 am, our first day's movement started. The discourse for the last time with Kolkata we had through BSNL tower. We moved along the left bank of Supin. After about 1.5 kilometers, we crossed Supin to its right by an iron bridge. Soon we reached Maicha at the confluence of Supin and Obragad. There we met a wooden tea stall. Enjoying a hot cup of tea, we had a look at Obragad towards northeast. One can reach Devkiri Glacier along this gad. Leaving the confluence, we marched along Supin. We could now glimpse the Fetari on the left ridge. It resembled a picture postcard with wavy fields around wooden houses. We could also see Kasla and Lara ahead. Within 1.5 hours, we crossed a wooden bridge over Supin. Then, a strenuous climb of 1,000 feet later, we reached the cultivated fields of Supin's left bank. The track rose through the paddy and potato fields of the last village. At the end of the day, we touched Lewari, the last village of this route. at 2,750 meters. Pushing through a crowd of children, we reached Someshwar Dev temple. There was a wide area in front, paved with stone. A fantastic place it was to indulge in idle talks in the soft rays of the setting sun. There was also a forecourt on one side to hold meetings, etc. We saw a primary school nearby too. Here, we stayed at one of our porters, Memor Singh Rawat's house. It was a 3-storied wooden house. A big crowd gathered into the first floor kitchen. Kitchen was busy preparing bread, vegetable curry of potato and creeper to be taken with curd for our supper. The elderly villagers and Memor Singh's father were against our plan of going ahead on this route because a few years ago they had lost a fellow villager to this Khimloga ice field. After a lot of discussion, we assured them that we would go ahead only if we find the terrain accessible. We left the place bowing down to God Someshwar and bidding bye to the gay villagers. Walking by the potato field, to our left, on the other side of Supin, we could see Suralgarh, which comes down from Chakuridhar. A shaded walk of 1 kilometer through pine, walnut and deodar leads to a wooden bridge over Supin. The trek route was obliterated due to landslide and fallen pine trees. A pine tree collapsed, leaving the trodden path fragmented. A hard trek through ice bridges and boulder zone leads us to Surmola Thach about 1 p.m. at 3,460 meters. This day, we had walked about 10 kilometers. Colorful tents were pitched on the green field in the shade of a big tree. There is a lake called Barashur on top of the ridge, held very pious by the locals. Next day, 21st, we started again at 7:45 in the morning for Biskopri at 3,600 meters and about 10 kilometers away. We followed the right bank of Supin. But the route got faint and was washed away by landslides at every few meters. So, we often had to climb high to avoid these landslides. After a while, we reached the top of the left ridge and came across a grassy land. We stopped for some time to enjoy the view of multicolored flowers peeping out of green pasture. Rest for a while. Towards the north, we could see Khimloga icefield and then we descended to Supin. At about 1 p.m., we reached Biskopri at the confluence of Guguigarh and Supin. The vast Alps, carpeted with flowers, could engulf quite a few football fields. We pitched our tents amidst that majestic beauty. The Supin flows along the gorge ahead. On the morrow, we would move forward along this route. On 22nd morning, we started at about 7:30 a.m. for Thangal Thach. We moved east along boulder zone. On our right, Guguigarh came down from Baslavadhar. If we follow the Nala, we can reach Devkari Ridge and finally to Baspa Valley. We reached the top of the ridge, and the spectacular view of Khimloga Glacier was spread out in panoramic view. On the left of the crack-headed glacier, there stands supreme the apex, 5,877 meter peak. Actually, according to the map, Khimloga Glacier is in two parts. The one in front is the main one, and a part of the North Glacier on left. The main glacier encompasses in its semicircle 5,187 meter, 5,877 meter and 5,480 meters peaks. Onwards to the northwest, the ridge has turned a little to merge with 5,889 meters and 5,440 meters peaks. The ridge to the north of 5,899 meter and 5,440 meter is the North Khimloga Glacier. Our present expedition targets to explore this part. At the end of the northeastern part of this glacier is a 5,712 meter peak, and to the right is 5,260 meter Khimloga Pass. We moved along the Baspa Valley amongst ice patches and boulders. At about 11:30 am, we reached Nishani Touch at 3,900 meters. From here, Subhash Bishwas had gone to Baspa Valley through Patagirdhar by following upwards along the Nala on the left. At a little distance, the porters pitched tents amidst boulders. It was just noon. Our desired target, the left lateral moraine of the Thangal Touch, was still 1 kilometer away, which is the keynote to Khimloga Glacier. As per Contour Google, we have to move towards north along the lateral moraine up to the snout of Khimloga North Glaciers, and then we would move towards east, avoiding the horrible blackish crack part of the snout. We hoped to achieve success and reach the pass, but the porters were unwilling to go ahead. Tent was pitched at Lower Thangal Touch at the height of 3,960 meters. Then it started snowing. Amidst it, dinner was supplied from tent to tent. May morning, the porters were adamant, reluctant to cross the dangerous glacier ahead. Discussing pros and cons, we all agreed to go along the moraine area in front up to noon. Then we would decide further action after a recce. We started our ice journey at about 7:30 am with crackling sound of snow under our feet. We moved towards the left moraine. As we moved further, the dangerous, heavily crevassed main glacier was visible on the right. We climbed the stiff wall of the moraine of at least 70-degree gradient. At about 9:30 am, the steep rock wall ended at the sharp top of the ridge. Suddenly, the dangerous, frightening sight of the terrible Khimloga Glacier was clear in front of us at 180-degree radius. In front of us was the joining wall of the 5,889 meters and 5,440 meter ridges. Every few seconds, stones and snowballs were coming tumbling down. The North Glacier to the left was so broken and dangerous that it looked as if it would swallow us any minute. It presented a horrible sight. Amidst maze of boulders on the glacier, coupled with rockfall hazards, it would be a difficult bargain. We were going along the sharp moraine ridge towards north. We knew that if we slipped, we would go down straight at least for 1,000 feet. It was 11:30 am. Now we were on the sharpest top of the ridge. the possibility of a fall on any surface anytime. But the porters refused to move on further. There was constant rockfall on both the sides of the path. But I got a glimpse of the 5,712 meter peak above the ice wall of the snout. There was no question of going back. No, it was not possible. The observation of the Google and contour shows that success would come if we would bypass the horrible blackish path and the rockfall zone. We all were determined to reach the target, no question of retreat. So we halted and somehow found a little space to pitch 3 tents. Only 2 Sherpas, Galgin and Lakpa, packed some climbing gear in 2 bags and moved on for the recce and rope fixing. The 2 were trudging forward, crossing the rockfall zone, now climbing up to northern glacier. We started waiting eagerly for the recce team to return. At last they returned at about 4 p.m. Galgin handed us the digital camera and the pictures told us the loophole to reach the pass safely. The porters were inspired by the picture of North Icefield, which is almost flat. The phobia of death apprehended by the experienced villagers, the warning of a fatal outcome by the veteran mountaineers were all dismissed within minutes.
राजा को रानी से प्यार हुआ पहली नजर में तो पहला प्यार.
On 24th May, we started early at 6 a.m. as we planned to cross the Nala before the snow melted. We descended, traversing the right wall of the moraine ridge. We had to reach the snout of the glacier by traversing boulders and avoiding the falling rocks. Above, to our right, we could see the dangerous black snout, and from that hanging glacier, snowballs were dropping down continuously. This route seemed very steep from afar, but it was a 60-degree gradient ice wall. We could walk easily by traversing left and right. We negotiated the ice ridges one after the other. Finally, at about 9:30 a.m., we were on top of a snow ridge. Suddenly, semicircular Khimloga North Glacier was exposed in front of us. There, we could see our dream path, the Khimloga Pass, about 4 kilometers away. The southern wall of the glacier had converted into icefall. That sight was really frightening. In fact, before the pass, we could see the heavily crevassed icefield which supported the Google picture. From the north wall, there was often deluge of snowballs and rocks. We walked along the left side of the glacier, and at noon, we reached the glacial pond. We halted there for lunch and picked up the gear left there by the recce team the day before. Then we moved on. Right in front of us was the field full of crevasses. Just 1 kilometer was left for the pass. We halted there for the day and set up our last camp on Khimloga Glacier at 5,050 meters. Space for kitchen was prepared, cutting the ice. Monstrous crevasses were found exposed all round. Goddess nature was alive. Ignoring the spiritual concept, we started worshipping the deity, praying for keeping us safe.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः.
It was 7 a.m. by the time we started on 25th morning. It was a bright, clear day with the snow-white field under us. We started climbing along the left ridge carefully at a northeasterly direction. The view of the pass became clearer as we proceeded. We could see a rocky projection amidst the depression, and that had bifurcated the path. Which one to take? Left or right? Even though we had complete faith in our recce team, I decided to overrule their advice and ask the advance team to survey the left path. But I found them returning as they found the path too dangerous. So we climbed over the right side, and thus at last all 20 of us had reached our dream destination. At 9 on that bright sunny morning, we were atop the pass, which was abandoned over 100 years, hoisting the national flag, club banner, and greeting each other. Oh, what momentous moments were those! Overwhelmed by the emotion, I was nearly forgetting that I had to have a look at the surroundings. Oh, that would not do. The path we would take was not the one shown in the map of the Survey of India. Without the visual proof, it would not be possible to suggest a change. At 78 degree 22 minutes and 36 seconds east and 31 degree 17 minutes and 3 seconds north, and at the height of 5,260 meters, this pass is very narrow. The right portion on which we were standing was about 60 feet long and 10 feet wide. The rocky projection has divided the depression shown on Google's and the other maps into two parts. A mushroom-like overhang has come out of the southern peak. Below it, we started fixing a rope to go down. In front, towards the northeast, we could see Nardunghad Glacier going straight down and then turning left. According to the map, the peaks that can be seen on the right ridge of this glacier are respectively 5,889 meters and 4,704 meters. To the right, or rather the southeast of that ridge, is the Janapakhad. As per the map, the route to go down from the pass is through this Janapakhad. Right in front, we have the simple straight Nardung. But why should we take the risk of crossing that dangerous wall? According to Google study, we decided to descend along the Nardunghad in front. To the right, under the ice overhang, one coiled rope was fixed and ready. Paying homage to the pass, clicking shots, and rejoicing took about an hour. At 10:30, we started getting down, holding the fixed one coil climbing rope. Even after that, the members had to go down some sharp descent. It took quite a while for collecting all the gear and 20 members to reach down. At 12 noon, we started descending. along the Nardung Glacier, leaving behind the crevasse-filled glacier of Nardung Khimloga watershed. The whole wall had transformed into dangerous icefall. Conquering the pass had given us all a new vigor. We all rapidly climbed down, overlooking all the rules, not paying heed to left or right. I could see the colorfully dressed members to the right under the ice wall. I too went down, a bit worried though. We came to the ice field at about 4:30 amid a light snowfall. At 4,700 meters, this day's camp was the last of this expedition. According to the map, Chitkul was only 5 kilometers away. Soon heavy snowfall started. 26th May, a bright sunny ice field. Our last day's trek of this journey started at about 8 am. Before it, I took some time to capture the whole team in my camera. In the knee-deep ice, we had to glisten in some places. At about 9, we came upon the ice-free rocky zone with just budding flowers here and there, like a child opening his eyes after a good slumber. And lo, behold, in that desolate place with no creature in sight, we came upon a broken down 2-room hut. It had broken down wooden walls and remains of a tin roof fallen down. A thought suddenly made me shiver. What if it was an ITBP shelter waiting for their arrival? I felt a little jittery as we had not taken their permission. Later, we came to know that it was made by the locals. Soon we were able to see Chitkul, the last village of the Baspa Valley. Right under our feet, amid green cultivated fields, were rows of wooden box-like huts. We halted for some rest and again marched on. Crossing the northern cut by a wooden bridge made of tree trunks, we came upon the right side ridge full of rhododendron trees. Soon we met Dr. G.S. Goraya, the chief conservator of forest. He and his troop had come there to inspect Nardung Khad. He was stunned to hear about our expedition. No one had come to know of our conquest of Khimloga. Some ladies of his entourage started chatting with Usha. At my request, he wrote a few lines in the diary wishing us well.
Knowing that the Khimloga Pass route to Uttarkashi was no more in use, it was great to witness and meet en route team led by Sri Tapan Pandit deep in the Nardung Khad. The team braved all odds and crossed the pass in about 7 days, starting from Sakre. Bravo and best of luck.
I took the opportunity to store their images permanently through my camera. Walking through the pine forests of the ridge, we came upon Baspa's banks. At last, riding a steel rope, we reached Chitkul. We took a few moments to glance at Nardung Khad coming down from the left ridge. A negligible ordinary nala, but on its head, hiding in its dazzling white crown, was the path lost over a century. But why? Is it the result of global warming?